Do you feel like our modern day lives are too fast-paced? Do you feel like we have to strive for perfection in every single thing that we do, which generally leads to a lot of procrastination around the things that we actually need to get done? Because deep down we know that perfection is unattainable, but whenever we think of these thoughts, it's generally met with us shrugging our shoulders and getting back to what we were doing, hoping that someday things will get better, hoping that someday we will figure things out. But our lives won't change unless we implement that change. Our lives are up to us and not our circumstances. So then why do we choose to live like this? And then how do we fix it? First, we need to realize that something needs to change in order for our lives to change. There is no right answer in taking back and taking control of our lives. But it starts with us asking questions and seeking out new roads less traveled. Which leads me into today's topic. It's an old Japanese philosophy called Wabi Sabi, which may give us some guidelines and directions to finding an antidote for our out-of-reach perfect lives. The definition. So let us define first what Wabi Sabi actually means. Wabi Sabi are two different concepts on their own, but when brought together form one. Wabi is about recognizing the beauty in the humble, simplistic and rustic of nature. Rather than focusing on the beauty of clear skies or a full moon, Wabi seeks to find beauty in all states of life. Sabi is used to describe how time affects all things, its growth and its deterioration. It focuses on the beauty of the impermanence of aging. These two concepts join together to create an appreciation for the simple, humble, yet impermanence of all states of life. Wabi Sabi is thus, in essence, the acceptance of the imperfect impermanence of all things, staying in the present moment and appreciating the simple and humble in all stages of life. And that extends into how we should view our own lives. Everyone has their own interpretation of Wabi Sabi. It is important to note that before we continue, that everyone has their own interpretation of Wabi Sabi and how they can implement it into their own life. As a philosophy and a way to navigate to a life that focuses less on perfectionism and more on acceptance. So I encourage you to draw your own conclusions as to what this philosophy will mean to you and what you will distill from it. If you want to read more, there are a few books on the topic, and I highly recommend the book Wabi Sabi, Japanese Wisdom for a Perfectly Imperfect Life by Beth Kempton. What I distill from it. Here are some practical ways of implementing this way of thinking into our lives, so that we can start to feel more in control of our lives again. Declutter your environment and minimize your stuff. Store away your things when you're not using them. Organize and throw away. Like minimalism, when we start to declutter and throw things away, we actually recognize that we have quite a lot. Some things we might have even forgotten that we had them in the first place. Once we start the decluttering process, throwing away things that we don't need or use anymore, and store away the things that we're not going to use at this moment, we start to cultivate a deeper appreciation for the things we do have and own. We will start to go from the mindset of lack and accumulation, always striving to attain more, to being content with what we have, because what we have is enough. Adopting this mindset is one easy way to detach yourself from the notion that we always need more, which then means that our things no longer have a hold on us. And once that happens, our stress and anxiety will start to decrease, as we are no longer worried about attainment and materialistic forms of success. This can have a massive ripple effect into our lives, to the point where we can possibly pursue an entirely different career path, focusing on our passions and self-actualization, as we don't need to earn as much to sustain a lifestyle we no longer require. Choose items that will last over a long period, over short-term compulsive spending. Choose items made from natural materials. Both of these add to simple living, as previously pointed out by the decluttering and minimizing of our stuff. What we choose to buy and own, once we have decluttered and might need to purchase something again into the future, should be met with questions like, will this last me a long time? Can I get a better model for a little bit more that might be far superior in quality? When purchasing furniture, for example, you may want to take a look at solid, natural or antique furniture that was built to last generations over cheaply made supermarket furniture. Having these items in your home will bring a sense of nature into your home, as well as having pieces of furniture in your home that reminds you of the natural stages of life. Learn to appreciate the simplicity of life. a more minimalistic and less is more life. For example, taking time to appreciate a single flower blooming from a tree instead of only marveling at a tree covered in flowers. There's beauty in all stages of life and in its simplicity. To quote Leonardo da Vinci, "Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication." We enjoy looking at a full moon, but not the same way we look at a three-quarter moon, and so on. Learn to appreciate life and nature in all its phases. You can use this as a means of looking at yourself as well. We are often only proud or happy with ourselves once we've accomplished a goal or completed a large task. Instead, be content with yourself that you're in the process of achieving your goals, that you are taking the steps necessary to become the person you aspire to be. See the beauty in yourself in the state of life that you are right now, as what you're going through right now will form and shape you into the future. Slow down the pace of life. Slowing down is the antidote to chaos and feeling out of control of your own life. Decide to disassociate yourself with the idealization of constant busyness and toxic productivity. We cannot do everything, and if we think we can, we'll accomplish nothing at all. We need to take the active decision to prioritize our lives and to say no or to delegate what is not important or essential to our lives. When we are busy being busy, we miss out on so much of life because it passes us by as we are distracted by other things. When we slow down our pace and focus on what is important to us instead, we feel less overwhelmed and more alive. We can only truly enjoy the experience of being alive when we slow down enough to enjoy it. Being present in the moment in all that we do. This idea goes back to Stoicism, where Marcus Aurelius said, "Concentrate like a Roman. Do every single task as if it were your last." The Japanese tea rooms were made to host minimal distraction. They were small, quiet rooms where people could sit down and enjoy a cup of tea, focusing solely on that experience. This focus on the present moment and on the experience of drinking tea is what heightened the enjoyment that they felt. That presence of the moment is an integral part of Wabi Sabi. Contrast to in the West, where we subconsciously will eat a bag of chips while watching a movie. We do not even notice that we're eating the bag of chips, only that the bag is now empty. All that we truly have is the present moment. We like to reminisce about the past, but we can never hold it again. And every time we recall the past, we remember it slightly differently, altering that very moment every time we revisit it. And our grasp on the future is a fool's game. The humble and wise know that life will never go according to our plan, no matter how hard we plan or how clear-cut our path is. Therefore, we truly only have the present moment. Cultivate an appreciation for the passage of time and beauty of aging in yourself and others, as well as in nature. Wabi Sabi focuses on the appreciation of wisdom, depth and growth, the fleeting nature of experiences, as well as existence itself, as noted by Richard Powell, the author of Wabi Sabi Simple. By cultivating an appreciation of time itself, we become more aware of the mortality of life itself, its fragility and impermanence. We start to change our old definition of beauty from the polished and perfect to the old and filled with character, giving us a new perception of the world. And as a side note, we will start to worry less and less about the standards of today and holding ourselves to the ideals and notions of others, as we accept who we are in our current state, our own fragility and aging beauty. By implementing these takeaways into our own lives, we will embrace imperfection and move away from struggling to reach the unattainable. By simplifying our lives and becoming present in the moment, we will free ourselves from wanting more than we need and becoming content and happy with what we have. From these understandings, we will be able to live with less stress and anxiety, make more time for the things that are important to us, and detach ourselves from things that aren't important to us. So in keeping with the philosophy of Wabi Sabi, I realized that I cannot do this topic absolute justice, and that this video isn't going to be perfect, nor am I going to strive for perfection in this video. I've simply distilled what I've learned from this philosophy and will try to implement into my own life. You may have your own unique interpretation of what Wabi Sabi means to you, and that's the beauty of it. If we strive towards perfection, we will sacrifice so much. Whereas if we shift our focus to acceptance of things as they are and make progress daily, we will start to live a more happy, healthy and fulfilling life. That is all for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like below. It will hopefully push this video out to more people and hopefully help them out as well. Please consider subscribing for more videos like this into the future. Until next time guys, bye bye.